Peace and blessings. This is your brother, Capra, also known as Ancient Wisdom Keeper. And today I got a text called the Holy Kolbrin Bible, or should I say the Kolbrin Bible. And the Kolbrin Bible actually has over 540 pages. Now this is a very mysterious and controversial text. Why? It's a two-part anthology, blending ancient Kemetic and Celtic wisdom, spiritual teachings, and prophetic warnings. It's not a traditional Bible in a canonical sense, but rather a collection of 11 books, 6 Kemetic, or should I say Egyptian, if you may, and 5 Celtic. Now, its origins. There is an Egyptian portion of the Kolbrin Bible that I would like to talk about. That is, it's said to have been written by academicians after the Hebrew Exodus, preserving philosophical and spiritual insights from pre-monotheistic worldviews. Now these texts includes creation, gleanings, scrolls of fire, manuscripts, and morals and precepts. And that actually stems from the Commission priests that preceded the Hebrews. Now the Celtic section, its origins, or that is the Book of Origins, the Silver Bow, Lucius, Wisdom, and Britain, was reportedly composed by Celtic priests after the death of Yeshua, aka Jesus. Together, they were brought together to form a spiritual record that explores ethics, cosmology, and humanity's relationship with divine forces. One of the most striking elements of the Kolbrin Bible is its reference to a celestial object called the Destroyer in Egyptian texts and the Frightener in the Celtic text. It is described as a body that orbited the sun and would bring cataclysmic change. These descriptions have been compared to prophecies in Exodus and Revelation, as well as the sinking of Atlantis and so on. So you see references where it seems to connect with what's said in the Christian Bible and other texts, and some interpret it as warnings of futurary planetary upheaval. I think I said futurary. See, I'm just making up words as I go. Anyway, the text also explores themes of moral evolution, spiritual discipline, and the cyclical nature of history on our planet. So once again, you see where the ancient wisdom teachings speak about existence not being linear, but cyclical. Unfortunately, many of us have been raised to believe in a linear expression of existence. A lot of this is due to our Western upbringing and Western religion that teaches that you only get one shot, right? Because it exploits your need to believe in a savior or a messiah outside of self. We'll get more into that later. Now, the Kolbrin was first published in New Zealand in 1994 by the Hope Trust and the Codian Trust. These were organizations that deal with metaphysics, and according to legend, parts of the manuscript were said to have been salvaged from the Glastonbury Abbey after a fire, and some were even transcribed onto metal plates known as the Bronze Book of Britain, indicating that Britain has access to ancient knowledge that it has not revealed or released to the public until recently. Though its authenticity is debated, many readers find its teaching spiritually resonant and its historical perspective compelling. The Kolbrin Bible also brings about traditions that talk about how our world had gone through a series of evolutions. According to researchers, when they talk about the destroyer, it's said to have caused, again, the deluge, Noah's flood, described as a global inundation triggered by a celestial upheaval. The sinking of Atlantis referred to the place over there, kind of in the northernmost part of Africa. And some would debate that, but we'll talk about that later. The Exodus cataclysm, the plagues and environment's chaos during the Hebrew Exodus, reinterpreted as manifestations of the destroyer's passage or message. Celtic flood traditions. Even the Celtic text written within the Kolbrin echoes tales of what they call doom dragon or frightener, which brought fire, the flood, and darkness. These events are not presented as isolated myths, but as part of a cyclical pattern of cosmic rhythm of purification of the planet Earth itself. One of the most striking passages reads, "It was the doomed shape called the Destroyer in old records. It was a body of flame, a fierce body of flame. The rivers changed their course. The thunderings were heard in the heavens, and the flames were seen." These descriptions suggest not just the metaphorical upheaval, but a geophysical and atmospheric destruction. Rivers reversing, skies roaring, and fire raining from above. The destroyer is portrayed as a serpentine, fiery entity. Now, some may describe it something like a comet or a rogue planet even, or a plasma anomaly that interacts with Earth's magnetosphere and tectonic systems. Something else, too, that we must consider is that when we look into ancient wisdom teachings around the world, you're going to discover that there's this theme of these four ages, a theme that talks about in the beginning stages of humanity, we were actually started out as enlightened in a golden age, then a silver age, right? Then a bronze age, and an iron age in which we are supposed to be in now. And it speaks about before we leave this age, we meet the end of this age with destruction or some type of upheaval. Each age is linked to an element, and these elements are also within ourselves. So when you look into the ancient texts, like the Sun Book, the Helios Biblia, there are two baptisms. There's the baptism by water, and there's the baptism by fire. The earth being destroyed by water, and then the earth also being destroyed by fire. There's an alchemical teaching behind this process, in which hints about human purification, transfiguration, and ascension into divinity. We're going to talk more about this as time goes on. Until then, people, may you have a wondrous day. Peace and blessings. Uncle Ucha Senab.